Well, for the next few minutes, Lloyd Robertson has graciously offered to join me as co-host as we do something a little bit different, Lloyd, because you know what it was like to see news come through a very authoritarian channel.
Yes.
Now enter the age of activism news. You've seen Canadians take charge of the kind of stories they demand to be covered and told, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Well, of course, the internet and the advent of Twitter and Facebook and all of this has changed all of that dramatically. I mean, now we're all participants in the news process. It just used to be handed down from a tablet when I started in the old days. You never got to talk to a cabinet minister, certainly hardly ever a prime minister. And now it is wide open.
All right, one of the wide open stories we're going to do right now, and that is with our next guest, Canadian Ghassemi-Shall, who traveled to Iran in 2008 to visit his mother, and his trip only recently brought him back home after 5 harrowing years when he was placed on death row, where he was physically and psychologically tortured while his wife Antonella Mega worked tirelessly for his release. Please welcome them both to Contact. This is a really great thing, Lloyd, because we have had Antonella up on our Facebook. We've had this story moving along, trying, Hamid, how did a nice shoe salesman like you wind up on death row?
Actually, I became a victim of conspiracy. That I got involved with my brother's case, which is he was the main suspect at the beginning, and they couldn't prove that he was a spy, and eventually they couldn't prove I was helping him in order to get the information out of the country. They couldn't prove it.
Your brother was arrested first. You were home visiting your mother.
Yes.
Your brother is arrested first. And they sweep the apartment and take your passport.
Yes.
And you just went back to go get your passport.
That's right.
And what happened?
Well, I want to follow up on my brother's case, why he's been arrested. And the official, they told me over there that this is something got to do during his service. And he was retired 2 years prior to that. And I told him that if he has done something, why you waited 2 years
to arrest him?
To arrest them. Anyway, they didn't answer properly. So for the third times, I went to get my passport in order to cancel my ticket.
This is at the police station in Iran?
No, this is the Justice Department, Army's Justice Department.
Okay, you went to go get your passport.
Yes.
Now you're the third time.
Yes. We were arrested by Army intelligence. It's got nothing to do with the police. These are the Army security forces. And they gave me an address, a building right beside their own building there. So when I went there with the receipt that I have to collect my passport, all of a sudden I was surrounded by 5 big guys. And they said, "You're Hamid Ghassemi?" I said, "Yes." They said, "We have a few questions for you. It's going to take us 3 hours. It's 9 o'clock right now. We're going to bring you back here by 12. So that 3 hours, it ended up to be 64 months in prison.
5 years and
4 months.
4 months.
Yes.
Right. This was deeply frustrating because, as you said, you felt you were the victim of a conspiracy.
Yes.
Did you feel like you were a political hostage in the end?
At the beginning, no, but as we were going along the interrogation, because I was interrogated for 8 months, as we were going along, a few times they told me that, one of the interrogator, that we are looking for people like you, that they have dual citizenship, either Canadian or from States, or somewhere that we can take advantage of them to serve our own purposes. And I didn't buy that at the beginning. And as I was going along, slowly I started to believe what he was saying is true.
Antonella, this is all going into an information vacuum. How hard was it to find out where he was and what had happened to him?
Well, it was next to impossible because I don't speak Farsi, and his family spoke only broken English. One sister spoke some English, and the other sister didn't. So the communication was difficult at best. I didn't know any Persian person outside of Hamid, or I might have known one or two, but really I didn't know how to go about this. And because it was deemed to be national security, the information just wasn't being made available to us. So I was in a black hole, and Hamid was in a black hole for 18 months.
Now, Antonella, people like yourself often are loath to talk about this to anybody for a long time because of what may happen to the loved one being held. Did you find yourself in that position? Did you not want to talk to the press or anyone for a long time?
Yes, I did. First of all, I believed unconditionally, as I know that Hamid was innocent, and really I felt that this may have been a situation of the wrong man being arrested. And I felt, at the beginning, I felt that it was probably something that was going to get resolved. But very quickly, it was obvious that it wasn't going to get resolved. And then I started receiving feedback from his family that they were afraid. And the Canadian government really were reinforcing that, telling me that really it was not a good idea to go public.
At the end of the day, this has been attributed to, your release has been attributed to Iran's charm offensive. New president, new release. Do you attribute it to that, or is it something different that your release has been caused by 5 years?
I'm not sure, but I knew, like 2 weeks before I get released, I knew that they're going to release me the same day that the Iranian president is heading towards New York. And I told my friends over there that this is going to happen, and it did happen. And I told them that a couple of days later, they're going to bring it into the media that we have released an Iranian-Canadian citizen that was charged here, and it happened 2 days later.
Are you hopeful regarding what you see right now taking place, the Iran opening up a bit more, talking more reasonably than Ahmadinejad did when he was in power?
Based on what I've seen in the media, the way that they're behaving right now, they're trying to be open for a dialogue with the Western country. That's all I can say.
All right. Your advice for us as a couple on hope. Antonella, you've been there.
Well, inside of me, I believe that nothing untoward could really happen, because if I believed that it could, then everything I believe about life couldn't be possible. And so I believe that there are good people everywhere, and that Hamid had to come home. And I knew that they would take leadership and wisdom, and by the grace of God, Hamid is here.
Well, it's wonderful to see you back in Canada. Welcome home, and thank you both very much for coming.
Thank you, Lorna.
Well, Sheldon Neal, time for you to bring our home viewers in on it now.
Exactly, Lorna. And after hearing Hamid's story, we want to know what you think. Should Canada consider restoring its diplomatic ties with Iran? And in dialogue, work towards improving human rights? Or should it keep those ties cut in protest? What do you think? From your feedback, we'll be making a random draw, and one of you will win a copy of Lloyd Robertson's book, That's the Kind of Life It's Been. Please share your views with us, send us an email, call us, reach us by Twitter or Facebook.
Okay, coming up, more with Lloyd Robertson on witnessing decades of world change and how authority figures aren't what they used to be. Stay with us.